Have you ever wondered why some people keep going, even when things get really hard? What makes them strong, even when they fail? Today, we're going to talk about something that can help you not just in school, but in life. It's called grit. Hi everyone, I'm Troy. Today, I'll play the role of TED speaker, Angela Lee Duckworth, sharing her talk in simpler English, so that more people, especially English learners, can understand it easily and enjoy learning from it. If you're new here, feel free to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So now, let's get into the story. When I was 27 years old, I decided to leave my job in management consulting. It was a very hard job, but I left it to do something even harder. Teaching. I became a math teacher for 7th grade, students in public schools in New York City. Like all teachers, I gave my students quizzes and tests. I also gave them homework. When they gave their work back, I checked it and gave them grades. I noticed something interesting. IQ was not the only thing that made students good or bad at school. Some of my best students did not have super high IQ scores. And some students who were very smart were not doing well in class. And that made me think, the things students need to learn in 7th grade math are hard, like ratios, decimals, and the area of a parallelogram. But they are not impossible. I really believed that every student could learn these things if they studied hard and long enough. After teaching for a few more years, I started to believe something important. I thought we need to understand students and learning in a better way, not just from tests, but also from how they think and feel. In school, the easiest thing to measure is IQ, but maybe doing well in school and in life needs more than just learning fast and easily. So I left the classroom and went to graduate school to study psychology. I wanted to understand people better. I began to study both children and adults in many different, very difficult situations. In each study, I asked the same question: who is successful here and why? My research team and I went to the West Point Military Academy. We tried to find out which cadets would finish the military training and which ones would quit. Then we went to the National Spelling Bee, where children spell very hard words. We wanted to know which kids would go the farthest in the competition. We also studied new teachers who were working in very difficult schools. We asked, which teachers will stay until the end of the school year? And among those teachers, who will help their students learn the most? We even worked with private companies. We asked questions like, which salesperson will keep their job? And which one will make the most money? In all of these very different places, we found that one quality was very important for success, and it was not social intelligence. It was not about being friendly or knowing how to talk to people. It was not about being good-looking or having a strong, healthy body. And it was not about having a high IQ. The most important thing was grit. Grit means having passion and never giving up on your goals, even when it takes a long time. Grit means you keep going, every day, even when it's hard. You don't stop after 1 week or 1 month. You keep working for years if needed. You work really hard to make your dream come true. Grit means you live your life like it's a marathon, not a sprint. A sprint is fast but short. A marathon is long and slow, but you keep going. A few years ago, I started studying grit in public schools in Chicago. I asked thousands of high school juniors to take a grit questionnaire. Then I waited for more than a year to see who would graduate. I found that students with more grit were much more likely to graduate. This was still true even when I looked at students with the same family income, test scores, and other things I could measure. This showed me that grit is important, not just at West Point or in the spelling bee, but also in schools. especially for students who are at risk of dropping out. To me, the most surprising thing about grit is how little we know about how to develop it. Even science doesn't have a clear answer. Every day, parents and teachers ask me things like, how do I help kids build grit? How can I teach them to work hard? How do I keep them motivated for a long time? And to be honest, I have to say, I don't know. But one thing I do know is this: being talented doesn't mean you have grit. Our research clearly shows that many people who are very talented still do not finish what they start. In fact, in our studies, grit is often not related to talent, and sometimes people with more talent have less grit. So far, the best idea I have heard about how to build grit in children is something called a growth mindset. This idea comes from Stanford University and was created by Carol Dweck. A growth mindset means you believe that learning ability is not something you are born with forever. It can get better if you try hard. Dr. Dweck found that when children read and learn about how the brain works and how it grows when we face challenges, they are more likely to keep trying after they fail. They don't think failure will last forever. That is why a growth mindset is a really good idea to help kids become more gritty. But that is not enough. We need more ideas. And that is where I will stop my talk today, because that is where we are right now. This is the work we still need to do. We have to take our best ideas and the things we believe strongly, and we must test them. We need to see if they really work. We must also be ready to fail, to be wrong, and to start again after we learn something new. In other words, we need to be gritty if we want to help our children become more gritty. So today, we learned that grit, not just talent or IQ, is what really helps people succeed. And the good news, grit is something we can grow. If this talk helped you learn something new, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment to share your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.